It's time for Myth of the Week.
Alright, so as you know, these myths are battle tested through all the groups. Everyone knows I'm not scared to go into different Facebook groups and battle over this different languages and stuff. And one of my favorite things I do with this myth of the week is I literally took the exact code language and put it into my myth of the week this week. So basically it says true or false. A panelboard shall be permitted to be oriented in the face-up position if such orientation is part of the listing and the listing of the assembly, and 408.43 shall not apply. And this is out of the 2023 NEC, and I believe that reference is directly out of 518.5A5. And so basically it's saying there that this is going to be compliant as long as the Chapter 5 reference supplements or modifies the Chapter 4 reference. And in this case, that would modify that Chapter 4 reference. So the answer this week is true. It is okay to do it as long as it goes off this 518.5 supply reference. So if you said true, you were correct this week. If you said false, you probably just needed to look further in the code and look at other sections. So James and I say that a lot when we're doing these, is a lot of people just stop at 408.43 and said, yep, can't do it. But you have to look at these other different sections of the code. And that's the one thing I really like about putting together these myths. I really want to give a big shout out to Chris Follin. He actually bet a guy lunch that you couldn't mount a panel in a face-up position. And then the guy says, well, you might want to look at 518.5A5. And Chris Follin had to go buy him lunch. So big shout out to you, Chris. Sorry you lost that bet, but I appreciate the myth of the week. And I really kind of want to see James's take on this, because I'm pretty sure that this was in the code change publication for 2023.
It was. I don't even have to comment any further. I mean, it specifically tells you right there what you want to know. You know, the thing that gets me on this is, where is the panel board installed?
True.
Oh, looky there, in a listed commercial appliance outlet center.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. I thought an outlet was a point. What? See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You got to go look at the rest of the code. The outlet is the enclosure, like I've been trying to say forever. This is just another good example in the code that is explaining exactly what we've been trying to tell everyone. And, you know, I'm still waiting to see what Code Making Panel 1 does. But, this, you know, if they won't say it's just a point, I'm okay with it. But there's other portions in the code that are directly not going with what they say here. And this is a good example of this. You got a commercial appliance outlet center. That means you have to have something to place there that panel board in. In other words, you know, I've said this over and over, you have to have something substantial there. You know, something that's in place. It just isn't a point. And that's what exactly this is. It's the center there. That is the enclosure. And that's what I've been saying for a long time. This is a good example of that. And I agree.
It's also a good example of how I got electrical wizardry. I got you, brother. You know, but it's so awesome. Like what you're saying. When you look at, they're saying that appliance outlet is not defined. Appliance outlet center is not defined. You know, all this stuff is not defined. You know, but this reference specifically gives you permission to mount this in a face-up position. I was going to say, I never really had any reason to mount a panelboard in a face-up position, and people were, had some really funny comments. I really appreciate everyone out there. Were like, oh, so I could operate the breakers with my toes, you know what I mean? And it was just really funny. You know, a lot of the comments were just hilarious, had me cracking up, so
Sure.
Keep the comments coming in. I love them. I just crack up every week.
It's just like your proposal you submitted. You specifically, I mean, they're trying to tell you what your proposal says, which cracks me up, but it specifically said the outlet is installed. So the same thing here. The panel board is installed in something. It's not saying it.
Oh, David! Got you, brother.
No worries, David. I can tell you, I'm not putting that on the test because everybody will know it now when we get ready for the death match.
There you go. Hey, they might not.
David will never forget this one. I'm telling you, he won't forget it. I'm willing.
No,
he never forget either.
He didn't forget that 0 inches on the smoke detector either. But